What's up YouTube? Robbie Vapes back again with another video, and today we're going to be talking about the Boom Boom Revolver Coil Jig. This thing is awesome. This is courtesy of Evolution Vape here in Calgary, my hometown vape store. These guys are amazing. They've been very supportive, as have you guys watching this video, so I can't thank you all enough. Thank you to you guys, thank you to Evolution Vape, and with that being said, let's get on to the review of this and let's find out what you get in this. Now before we get into that, I just want to say one quick thing. I know what you're all thinking. I was thinking the exact same thing before I actually went on and I actually got this. I was thinking about buying it anyways, but they gave it to me, and I had this struggle about buying a coil jig for a little while now. I've seen a lot of them out there, and I was thinking, you know what? I'm a traditionalist. I don't need no coil jig to build coils. I got that blue screwdriver, right? I don't need anything else. But then I got this thing, and my life has changed. The coils I've built in this thing are really cool. I'm actually going to be showing you one at the end of this that I'm really stoked on. It's not meant for vaping, but it's a pretty cool setup nonetheless. So I've got some pre-made coils here. We're going to build one on here, and we're going to unbox it real quick. Let's get down and dirty with this thing, and let's see what's inside the box. Here we are up close and personal. We have the Boom Boom Revolver Coil Jig, which I'll get to in just a second. But I want to show you a couple coil wraps I did just for practice kind of thing. We have tons of different sizes here. We have some that are 24 gauge, some of the smaller ends. We have one that's a little bit bigger, 24 gauge as well. Get it to focus there. We have an attempt, I should say, at a parallel 28 gauge and nichrome build here. See if we can get up close a little bit to see it. Now, I'm not the best with nichrome, so I apologize. You know, that's just not something I'm used to working with, so that's why a lot of these are coming out pretty bad. We have a nichrome stovetop type coil, my attempt at one at least, and we can see right here, same thing. So nichrome definitely isn't my strong suit, and again, I think part of that is just I haven't worked with it enough. We have a pure nichrome build right here. Again, it came out really messy, so a lot of these haven't even been on tanks before, or on RDAs before. In fact, I don't think any of these ones have. We have another one right here. This is just a smaller one. This is Canthal as well. This is 28 gauge Canthal. We have a small 28 gauge Canthal, just to show you how small you can build these coils if you wanted to. I don't recommend it, but you know, you do have versatility with this coil jig, so I want to stress that. And of course, you know, the biggest question, can you do twisted builds? You know, this one didn't turn out too good. It was kind of rushed, but you can see here it's a twisted 24 gauge with, I think it's like 4 or 5 wraps here. 4 wraps looks like, and we can see here just what it looks like. So this is the coils I've built on it already. Now let's get to the main attraction. This is the Boom Boom Revolver Coil Jig, and this thing is really cool. So let's see what you get in the box first. First of all, it's a little tin. I like it's got a little window in it, kind of nice. You have the top piece for it, which has a screw. The screw usually comes out of it, or it comes separately in this little baggie here, but I didn't want to waste too much time, so it's already in there. You have your different size holes for all your different rods. You have the unit itself. If I can get this thing out. The unit itself right here. The Revolver Coil Jig by Boom Boom. Up here is where you have a screw in here as well. This usually comes separate too. You use a Allen key that comes with it, which I'll show you in a second, to adjust the tightness of depending on the size of the rod you're using. And of course you have the feeder hole right through here. But we'll get into all that later on when we do an actual build on this thing. Here is the Allen key that you get. Pretty standard Allen key, nothing special about it. And of course you get your rods as well, and this is where you're going to have different sizes to choose from. You get 3 different sizes on here. So what we're going to do is we're going to use the biggest one in here, and we're actually going to do a build on this thing just to show you what it looks like. So let's take it out, dump them all out, why not? Actually, I think this is the biggest one anyways, so let's put this off to the side. And we will put this in here, if it'll fit. And now we are ready to wrap. So what we're going to do is grab a piece of Canthal and just cut a piece off. I'm actually not even going to straighten it out because you don't need to with this, and that's kind of one of the benefits, is you don't really have to straighten it out. If you're using it, I'm not going to take too much, just enough to demonstrate. So what we'll do is cut about that much off. And I'm going to show you how this thing works. This thing is really cool. So you have the entry slot right there. What you're going to do is just thread it through. I swear it's actually easier than this just because I'm on camera. It's a little bit harder to see. And I'm just going to take it through as much as you want or as little as you want. That should be more than enough. And just start it by wrapping and push down a little bit. Next thing we do is take our top cap right here, find the hole we want to use. In this case, we're going to use a further one because it's a lower gauge canthal. So we'll hold it down right there and just start spinning. Just do as many wraps as you feel necessary. And this is just gliding. I mean, this is just insane how easy this is. So there's our coil. Obviously I made a lot of wraps here so you guys can see it. Take it all out. And there we go. So we'll cut this a little bit and we'll straighten it out and I'll show you what it looks like when it's finished. Alright guys, so we have the finished product right here in hand. And you can see it's a little bit bent, but that's because I rushed through this a little bit. I apologize, usually I wouldn't rush through it. But basically what you have is a really clean coil. In fact, you know what? Let's grab one of the other ones that I did earlier because it's going to look a lot better. Because I actually took the time with it. So same thing here, pretty much identical coil. And you can see just how clean these come out. I mean, these are really fun to work on. You can start your own builds with these. You can kind of create your own build and experiment. And it's just really, really easy to work on. So I do really like this thing. I was surprised. Like I said, I didn't think I'd ever use one of these, and now I use it every day. This should be in pretty much everyone's toolbox or something like it. Really nice to use. Makes building a lot faster. You know, cons, the only thing I can think of is that, and I think someone else pointed this out, I can't remember who, but if you're trying to attach a coil onto, I don't know if this is going to fit, yeah. So if you're trying to attach a coil like this onto your RDA, you don't, usually this part gets in the way of the lip of the RDA, so it does get hard to try and straighten it out like you would with a screwdriver. The solution to that, of course, is just grab a screwdriver and put it through there to straighten it out and use this just to build it. I guarantee it will be a lot easier for you guys. This thing is phenomenal. I've done some really cool builds on it. Nothing, you know, I guess nothing too challenging. But then again, you know, it's a lot easier to do something a little bit more challenging on these coil jigs than it is for, you know, using a screwdriver. So what we'll do now, we'll go up top. We'll vape the new build I just did. And then after that, we'll come back down here real quick and I'll show you what it looks like on the inside. I'll take out the cotton and show you what the actual coils look like. So let's go back up top and let's see how it vapes. Alright guys, we're back up top. This is my new build I did. It's nothing fancy. It's not meant to produce a lot of vapor. It's not meant to be a flavor chaser or anything like that. It was just me goofing around and I wanted to see if it would actually work. So what we'll do here is take a couple hits off it. This is a 0.8 ohm coil, vaping at 40 watts, so 5.7 volts. And again, let's just take a hit and let's see what kind of vapor we get out of it. It's not too bad actually. It's got some flavor. I mean, this wasn't a flavor build by any means. It's got pretty decent vapor production for a 0.8 ohm coil. This is just a single coil, guys. This isn't a dual coil build or anything like that. Pretty straightforward. I'm going to take another hit off it, then I'm going to tell you what I think of the coil jig, then if you stick around you get to see what the actual build looks like inside. So, one more hit off this. I'm liking it. I don't know, I mean I probably won't keep it, but it was just fun to play around with. A little bit of experimenting. So we'll put that off to the side. We'll go right back up close real quick at the end to show you the coil build. In the meantime, let's talk about the Revolver Coil Jig. What are my thoughts? Do I like it? Absolutely. I love this thing. The amount of coils I've built on this thing, I mean, I've had it for a couple weeks now, and you know, it's really a really fun tool to use. I think it's fun to build on. I think it's fun to try and experiment on, see what kind of builds you guys can do. They're like 15 bucks Canadian, so it's like 11, 12 bucks American for one of these, I'm assuming. It's a really good price, guys, and it works really well. It will save you some time, and I think you guys are going to like building on this thing. Like I said, I was hesitant at first, but after a while of using this, I love it, so I think you will too. Now, with that being said, that pretty much ends the video, so hopefully this video didn't turn out to be too long. Thanks again for watching, and let's go up close one more time and we'll check out the actual coil I built. Alright guys, so as promised we are back with the coil build I did. I like this thing. If you can see here, I'll get it to focus. It's basically a tri-coil, so you have 3 coils each with about 5 wraps. You have one going along the side down here, which leads to this one going up and around and around and around, and that leads to this one down here. Now the key to this build is making sure that nothing is touching the posts, nothing is touching any of the sidewalls, otherwise you get a short, which is not good. So it's not a very easy build. I definitely don't recommend it for beginners, but this was all built on that coil jig I just showed you, and this is just to demonstrate the capability of what you're capable of doing on this thing right here, which again, I can't stress enough, it's just really fun to use. So that's the coil right there. I guess if I have to name it, I don't know if anyone's done something like this before, but we'll call it the loop-de-loop because it has a little loop up top. But basically it was a really fun thing to do. I enjoyed it. Like I said, I mean, if you have one of these Revolver Coil Jigs, you're going to like it, you're going to have fun building on it, you're going to start experimenting. This is just one of the many things I've experimented with it so far. But this was probably my favorite one of the bunch. I like it. I think you guys are going to like that coil jig. And yeah, I guess that concludes the video. So until next time, YouTube, and I know you guys thought you were going to get away from this, but you're not. Until next time, YouTube, happy vaping.